What's going on, everybody? Teddy Baldessar from teddybaldessar.com. In this video, we're going to be looking at a watch available for purchase on my website with the Marathon Government Search and Rescue. So at any point throughout this video, if you want to learn some more information about this watch, this one coming in 41 millimeters, I'll have a link in the description. I'm a full authorized dealer of Marathon watches, so you get that full factory warranty. And also I'll have a promo link in the description to get some free straps with your purchase. But guys, let's take a closer look at this watch. Looking at this Marathon, we have a case size 41 millimeters, thickness 13.6 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters, lug to lug 48 millimeters, water resistance of 300 meters. Movement is an automatic at a 28-24-2. Crystal is sapphire. We have an ISO 6425 certification here. And if you use promo code Search and Rescue at checkout, you can pick out 2 free nylon, NATO, or rubber straps with your purchase. Now, when one is considering the best military spec or rugged watches on the market, there are some brands that get thrown into the mix, but one that is certainly in the conversation, is probably underappreciated, is Marathon. Marathon has roots back to the early 1900s and began really dipping their toes into the world of military-issued timepieces in 1941, producing timing instruments for the Allied forces. In the decades following, the brand's ethos has been continued as they develop watches for military use, being used by US soldiers and Canadian Armed Forces. The company today operates out of Canada, with all of their watches being produced in Switzerland. The watch that we're going to be looking at today is perhaps one of the brand's just best representations of delivering a watch with these specifications, with it being issued and worn by troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. And you can also get a version with those US government markings on the dial as well. But this all said, this is also a great solution for those that might have an outdoorsy lifestyle and require and demand a lot from their watch and want to be able to do it at a pretty reasonable price with good spec. First, looking at the Search and Rescue on the wrist, we have a medium of the road type of sizing of 41 millimeters and a reasonable lug to lug of 48 millimeters that wears closer to a 39 to 40 millimeter as a result. The watch does certainly have some presence on the wrist though as a result of the weight, 176 grams. The relatively somewhat thick case of 13.5 millimeters, not really that thick though for a watch of this much water resistance, and more notably the crown and crown guards that extend out an additional 3.5 millimeters from the side of the case. The crown comes with a nice knurling style, making it incredibly easy to screw and unscrew. In addition, given the brushed tool-like finish of the rest of the piece, this provides a nice splash of style to an otherwise down-to-business tool watch. The bezel comes in with a unidirectional 120 click that has a very smooth action and has a very nice audible sound to it. The bezel features an easy to engage, notched edge that extends out just slightly beyond the case underneath to assist with getting a grip, and at the 12 o'clock we have a triangular tip that contains superluminova to assist in the watch's luminescence in the dark. Transitioning back to the wearing experience, the lugs tuck quite nicely to the wrist and feature lug holes to assist in a variety of straps to be paired with this watch. And again, on the subject of, if you do purchase this watch from my store, I'm a full authorized dealer of Marathon watches with a factory warranty. You can get 2 free NATO, nylon, or rubber straps with your purchase. To match the case finish, we have a bracelet that features a brush finish and is very well constructed, and I think is definitely worth investing in and getting additional straps to fit that 20 millimeter lug width after the fact. The 3-link bracelet forms at the wrist nicely and has flexible pivot points to each of the links that will help the bracelet really form to the wrist. They feature screwed-in links, it's very breathable, and has a secure clasp on the underside that you would probably expect from a watch of this type, and has the inclusion of 5 micro adjustment points in the clasp. Casting over the dial, we have the inclusion of a sapphire crystal that will help the watch in its durable nature and provides view of the dial elements underneath. So if this piece so far hasn't given off the intended purpose, the dial certainly will. Perhaps the first thing that really stands out here when looking at this dial is that within the syringe style hands and at each of the hour markers, we have tritium tubes containing tritium. Now, tritium is an interesting material, and despite many watches leaning to using superluminova nowadays, tritium does have its benefits, as unlike superluminova that responds to a light source and will emit luminescence that will shine brighter in the dark in comparison to tritium, it does gradually fade quicker. On the contrary, tritium might not shine as bright as superluminova. It does, though, emit a constant luminescent source that will not fade like that of superluminova, making it a very good choice for those that will be operating in complete darkness. That said, those familiar with vintage watches know that tritium will eventually fade, and Marathon states that in these watches it will last up to 25 years. The dial here features 2 shades of illuminating, with all the hands and the hour markers containing a typical green tint, while the 12 o'clock marker contains an eye-catching orange to assist in the orientation of the watch in the dark. Along the outside of the dial, we have a detail-lined minute track containing 1/4 of a second for precise timing, large white hour markings for both 12 and 24-hour scale, a date window nestled between the 4 and the 5, the writing of Swiss made at the bottom of the dial, where Marathon has been producing their watches since 1939, and the peculiar use of radiation symbol at the 3 o'clock. But before you get too concerned, this presence is ensuring that this watch is in compliance with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Flipping over the watch, we have view of a closed case back with quite a bit of military style markings, such as the ISO certification number, the NATO stock number, the amount of radiation present in this watch, the issued product code for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the cage number. Within the screw down case back, we have the reliable ETA 28242. The Swiss automatic movement is a reliable one. You're getting a workhorse here, easy to service years down the road when it becomes time. It's easy to regulate, but Marathon is very good with regulating their watches, so you're going to get really good out-of-the-box performance here with their movements. For the beat rate here, we're looking at 4 Hz, 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it's hacking and hand winding, so you can stop the second hand when unscrewing that screw-down crown and pulling it to the farthest position to set precise time, and also features hand winding at the unscrewed position to wind the watch, and has a 38-hour power reserve. Now, as I progressed in my journey in collecting watches, I've really come to appreciate tool watches, given the watches nowadays are generally not seen as tools as they once were. However, in certain practices, there are watches that still sustain that tool watch identity and still serve their original purpose. As when looking at a brand like Marathon, I think you're looking at a brand with a long history of producing mil-spec watches, as well as making them available to enthusiasts for fair prices. I think they're one of the very few brands that are making watches to this standard, and I'm very proud to be carrying this brand on my site, as this GSAR is one of the best divers out there that I think you can probably find for the price, especially if you're going for a watch of this style. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you are in the market for this watch, definitely head over to the website, teddybaldessar.com. Full authorized dealer, full factory warranty for any of the watches purchased. There's a lot of places you can buy watches online that are not authorized, so I work directly with the brands to ensure that you're getting a fully authentic product, and you're also getting that warranty again. And also definitely use the promo code down below as well. Also be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.